This is the top 5 best class setups in Black Ops 6. I use all these class setups on a regular basis, and I think they'll help you out. So if they do me a favor, like this video and comment down below so they know that it works. So we're going to start with the XM4. I'm going to give you guys gunfighter versions and non-gunfighter versions. Make sure you guys are putting on the Merlin Mini. This thing is actually the best optic for the XM4. I see people using the Kepler Micro. If it's your preference, cool, but the Merlin is just statistically better. Next, we're going to move on the suppressor. Now, some people like compensator. If you want to stay off the mini-map, suppressor is good for you, but if you want as little recoil as possible, then the compensator is the best option. The ported compensator is also nice, but I just feel like for most weapons, the compensator is more than enough and actually more beneficial. So I'll show you both versions, but we're going to stick with the suppressor for now. The reinforced barrel is technically, I would say, a pretty solid choice for maybe Warzone. For multiplayer, I'm usually going long barrel, but also reinforced is nice for bullet velocity included. So you can choose between long barrel or reinforced, but these are the two options. Next is the vertical foregrip. There's really no negotiating with this one. The vertical foregrip is the best choice for most weapons, honestly. Extended mag 1 is kind of controversial. You can use extended mag 2 if you want to. I mean, you will have some more cons, but you'll have 60 bullets. I think this is kind of more beneficial for Warzone, more so. Honestly, extended mag 3 you'll see a whole lot in Warzone, but extended mag 1 I think is more than enough for multiplayer. Next, we're going to go with the quick draw grip. I see a lot of people using commando grip. Nothing wrong with that, especially if you're going to run around a whole lot more with this weapon, then this is actually a solid choice. But quick draw grip is what I really like using with this weapon. Next, we're going to go with the light stock for the movement speed. That's really all I care about for it. So technically, I mean, if you want to, you could put on the balanced stock and have some more benefits, but I like light stock. It just does something for me. Who knows? And then I finally put on recoil springs for this. And then to show you how this thing works, it's actually incredible. I'm not going to lie. Can I have my weapon? Okay, there we go. I'm not gonna lie, it's really not hard to control this weapon. Like, it's super easy. It's a very powerful weapon. It gets the job done. So I'm gonna show you guys the difference with compensator. With compensator, you don't really have to try that hard. Like, I'm barely holding my thumbstick down, and you know, the recoil is just absolutely beautiful. But say, for example, you don't want to use gunfighter. Completely fine. We're gonna start all over. We're gonna put on the Merlin Mini once again. Muzzle. I would suggest suppressor, but we'll go compensator for this one. Barrel, we're gonna go reinforced barrel. Under barrel, we're gonna go vertical foregrip. Magazine, extended mag 1. Honestly, I mean, it doesn't really take much effort to even use this weapon. It's easily one of the most casual friendly weapons you can use in the game. So if you only have 5 attachments, you don't want to use gunfighter, then this is the one for you. But next, we're gonna go on to the Tanto 22. This is arguably one of my favorite weapons. I know it's showing XM4, it's just a visual glitch. So we're going to start out with the Kepler Microflex. I actually really like the Kepler Microflex for this SMG for a gunfighter version. Only gunfighter. If you're not using gunfighter, then we do not need an optic. But next, we're going to put on the compensator. Now, I really enjoy the compensator. If you guys actually saw my video a little while back, somebody actually killed me with this class setup. So I know this class setup is amazing. I actually dropped double nuke with this class setup. Next, I put on the reinforced barrel for bullet velocity and damage range. This thing is really nice. Believe me, you want to have the reinforced barrel on there. But next, we're putting on the vertical foregrip for as little recoil as possible. It's really unmatched. I mean, you can put on the Ranger foregrip if you want to. If you want this benefit along with some sprinting movement speed, completely fine. But in the class setup he killed me with, it was a vertical foregrip. Next, we're going with the extended mag 1. Extended mag 1 is more than enough. You don't really need more than that, especially because this doesn't shoot super fast. Ergonomic grip, I usually go with the quick draw commando grip, but ergonomic grip is really growing on me. I really like this a whole lot, so that's what we're going with. Balanced stock is super useful for SMGs and weapons overall, but especially SMGs. Look at all the pros it has. I just honestly think it's very useful. Unless you want to go no stock, I think balance is the better option. And then the rapid fire. I don't think this needs recoil springs, and you're going to see why in just a second. So, what the heck? How did this happen? Anyway, as you guys see, this thing is absolutely incredible. Try not to use it at super long ranges. Like, I'm never going to use it at 50 meters, but this thing really gets the job done super easy. If you aren't using a gunfighter version, make sure you're taking off the Kepler Microflex. You can honestly take off the ergonomic grip. You can also take off the balanced stock. So this is what you're going to have on there. This is what's going to be left over, and it's still going to basically play the same. So how you're going to see it in the firing range is still absolutely busted. You just don't have it optic. It technically looks like it's killing faster. So whichever version you want is completely up to you. This thing is absolutely busted, and I think you'll absolutely love it. But next, what we're going to do is we are going to go to the Saug. The Saug is becoming one of my favorite weapons in the game. It's a super fast TTK, especially up close and personal. Whereas the Tanto was a great overall, this is fantastic in close range engagements. So we're starting out with the suppressor. This is really, I mean, all you need. I don't think you even need compensator for this, but if you wanted to put compensator on, completely fine. I mean, I say that for basically all the weapons, but suppressor is all you need. Reinforced barrel is pretty nice. If you want to use long barrel, then that's fine too. But reinforced or long barrel, don't go with anything else. It just will hold you back. Vertical foregrip, if you want to put one on there. I mean, if you have gunfighting, then this is the one you want to have. Next is extended mag 1. You don't really need extended mag 2 or anything else. Just stick with extended mag 1 so you don't really have any cons. Ergonomic grip is pretty nice. If you want to use quick draw grip, completely fine, but I like ergonomic grip in this scenario. Next, we're going with the light stock for the movement speed, but if you want balanced stock, that's also fine. I mean, they're both really nice. It depends on how you want to, go about your game, and I'm actually looking. Seems like balance is actually a better option. Now, because I have something left over, target laser is completely fine, but you don't really need a laser. If you don't want to be found by enemies, then keep that off. And then the recoil springs, just for as little recoil as possible. When you go into the firing range, as you guys see, this thing does not move. It literally does not move. And that's why I said you don't really need compensator. You can just stick with the suppressor and do a fantastic job. But if for whatever reason you don't want to use gunfighter, just take off ergonomic, take off balanced, go into the firing range, and you're still going to get the same outcome. It's just an absolutely amazing weapon. And honestly, I can't think of an SMG that will dominate better in close range than this. But say you don't want to use the Saug. The PP919 is an incredibly versatile, but mainly dominant close range SMG, and this is the build for you. So we're going to stick with the suppressor. This thing is very, very nice with a suppressor. It's one of the only weapons I would say objectively doesn't need a compensator. If you want to put a compensator on there, it'll only be better, but it doesn't need a compensator. Reinforced barrel, which is really nice. This is one of those weapons I'll actually say does not need gunfighter, but if you wanted to put gunfighter on here, this is what you would put on there. Fast mag, unless you want to use extended mag 1, I don't really think you need it. I mean, if you look at the cons of extended mag 1, you lose basically handling. I don't really think that's worth it. So if you want to put fast mags on, cool, but I don't really think you need to. But that's just what I put on there for the gunfighter. Ergonomic grip, which is pretty awesome. Slide to fire, aim down sight, dive to fire, all that good stuff. If you don't care too much, you can just put on quick draw grip if you're just focusing on ADS speed. No stock or balanced stock. Like I said, I like both of them, but for this one specifically, the no stock is dominant in my opinion, so I'm sticking with no stock. Next is the target laser. If you want to have this on there, if you don't want the laser to show, just take that off. And then the rapid fire. I have no reason to put on recoil springs for this weapon right here. So get in the firing range. This thing, it really just gets the job done. I can't think of a better weapon, honestly. For like versatility, it's just fantastic. So between this and the Tanto, it absolutely dominates. But if you don't want to have gunfighter, literally just take off fast mags, and then you'll have the same result. I already showed you in the firing range. It's not going to be much different. This is just the best choice if you don't want gunfighter and you guys want to focus on perk greed or something else. This is the good choice right here. But say you don't want to use the PP919. Say you don't want to use the XM4. Go with the Ames 85 or Ames 85. All this time I thought it was the Ames. Somebody told me it was the Ames. So the Ames or Ames 85 is absolutely amazing. This is what you're mainly seeing at competitive. I'm going to give you guys a slightly more public-friendly build, starting out with the Merlin Mini or the Kepler Microflex, whichever one you want. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's your choice. Putting on suppressor, unless you don't care about being on the minimap, then put on the compensator. Both are good. I'll show you both versions, but we're starting with the suppressor. Reinforced barrel is incredible. Make sure you guys have this on there, or the long barrel, one or the other. Reinforced or long barrel. Next, put on the precision foregrip. Precision foregrip is really nice. Now, if you don't care too much about precision foregrip, you can put on the vertical foregrip. I just thought that this was basically nice to have aiming idle sway control, but if you don't care too much about that, if you want to stay meta, then just go with the vertical foregrip. Extended mag 1 is optimal just because you're not going to really have any other cons other than reload quickness. Next, put on the quick draw grip. You're probably wondering, not commando, not ergonomic, just because it's fantastic. As an AR, I like, having the ADS speed. I know the XM4, I did not have that. I more so had, I think, the commando. But for this weapon right here, I think I would hold positions pretty well. And so I need the aim down sight speed. Next is the balanced stock or the light stock or the infiltrator stock. But in this scenario, I think the balanced stock was the best choice. So this is what I chose. And then the recoil springs. This thing is super good, gets the job done. I'm once again floating for some reason. There we go. All right. This thing, absolutely incredible. Even does a good job at long range. Now, say you don't want a suppressor. Take off the suppressor, put on the compensator. Here's what we're gonna do. This thing is crazy. I mean, it really doesn't take much effort to use, but say you don't have gunfighter, what we're gonna do is basically take off recoil springs, and you're gonna take off balanced stock, and I'm pretty sure we have to take off one more thing. So unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can take off the quick draw grip if you want to, or extended mag. Pick whichever one you want to. I'll take off the quick draw grip just for this like scenario. And basically, you're just going to be somebody holding position. You're not going to be focusing too much on, I guess, the quick draw. And this is the build for you.